Guys, if you're here watching this, thank you. Because this stupid video took tens of hours of footage to make. Let's just get a point of reference. On one of the storage drives on my computer, I have almost 2 terabytes of data. Over time, that has been reduced to fractions of that number. That leaves the question, how did we get here? Well, it all started back like a week ago. It all started with one little thing, a video, The Great Potato War by Technoblade, in which this, I don't know whether to call him a genius, a madman, or an idiot, but this guy decides to try and claim the #1 potato rank in Hypixel. He noticed that one guy in particular had the potato ring and decided to dethrone him, and took weeks out of his time farming potatoes, sabotaging the other guy. There's mysteries on both these guys' channels. The other guy was I'm a Squid kid, so a fellow Squid brethren. Give a shout out to him because, well, he's a fellow Squid brethren. He had the #1 potato rank, was boasting it, and Technoblade took it out. And this war is a hilarious video. I recommend watching it, but it doesn't end. There's a second video in which both of them continue the war, and at that point, it becomes clear what Technoblade is: a complete and total idiotic madman, but with a side of comedic genius. At this point, I'm watching these two internet, I don't know what you would call them. I'm watching these two internet people, and I'm like, these guys are legends. They are creating meme history they are writing meme history. I'm like, you know what? I can't be left out on that hat action. I want to become a meme. And the best place to do that is in a game where you can do stupid stuff, like get level 50 enchantments. So I decided, I'm gonna make a Skyblock series. I have a lot of regrets, okay? As the title says, after watching these people, I decided I was going to become the best Skyblock player without knowing what that meant. I can't be the best Skyblock player for a very specific reason. I'm at a severe disadvantage. Everyone on this server has had months of head start. This game came out over the summer, and I actually played it. All these people have a month's head start on me, and honestly, I could have gone on my old profile. I made an old profile. I played back in the day when this game first came out. It was a lot of fun, but I have nothing done here. Let's just take a moment. Let's just take a moment and witness that this profile, which is my old profile, is somehow worse than this profile, my new one, which I've been working on for apparently 7 days and 4 hours. Literally, the best achievement I have is making that giant sans face. So, with my old profile being so bad, I decided to make a completely new one and relive the experience of grinding for 700 hours. But here's the thing. Was the real problem. At this point, I didn't really know what to do because, again, I am far behind from everyone else. I can't just become the best because there's already the Skyblock player with that title. So I needed to come up with some requirements for what made me the best. And these developed over time as I played through the game. But for starters, there was one thing I loved in particular: minions. So, you see, minions are the base behind everything. They mine you materials. Without them, you're basically worthless because they work offline, they do everything. They can get you everything you need at an extremely rapid pace, and therefore, they are extremely important. So, one thing I knew that I was going to have to do is basically get every minion unlocked to full capacity. Minions all tie to certain categories. Each different category thing may or may not have a minion. Most main foods, mobs, ores, trees, and fishing stuff have a minion. And I was going to try to get them all. like an idiot. Our good YouTuber Technoblade explains this in great detail, that as you get past a certain level of minion, about 7, it becomes worthless to upgrade your minion anymore, because it'll take so long to get a return from that. You think I care? Do you think I care about that sort of thing? No. My goal was to get every single type of minion fully upgraded. And that was my first keystone to becoming the best Skyblock player. And boy, has it been a pain. Upon starting my experience in Skyblock, I actually had Lion and Peril with me for some content, and boy, did they provide it. What up, my friends? It is me. Lion, shut up. This is my moment. This game, Skyblock, as it says in the beautiful menu over there. You're trying to code a menu, aren't you, Lion? How well is it going? How well? How well? How's the gifting going, guys? How's it going?
Really bad.
Really?
I got 2 of those. Actually, no swear. I didn't swear.
He said nothing. You heard nothing.
I love
this. Is all an illusion. Mr. Squid Whiskers doesn't exist.
Wait, what? Wait, you guys don't drag me into your mistakes. They mocked me for about an hour and a half about how bad I was as I scrambled to try and get my minions as fast as I could. They decided to take up a challenge in front of me. They decided they were going to try and get a bunch of all the talismans to rub it in my face. And see, this is how I know I have great friends. I stayed determined. I started off on my little island. I made my way off. Under Lion's advice, I went to get the wheat minions and other farming minions first. I farmed up the wheat, got some potatoes, got whatever farms I could. But here's the problem. Competition is fierce on the farming island. People are at each other's throats for this stuff. Shut up. You have a dragon on your head. I just want potatoes. This is one of the better times, I've got to say, guys. I'm honestly quite impressed. I farmed here for quite a while, and I really only got the materials to get the carrot minion and the wheat minion. I started on the others, and that's not including the animal minions, which we'll get to later. From there, I decided to venture out into one of Skyblock's more popular places, because, well, it's just ridiculous. In Minecraft, the biggest flex is your materials. I would say your gemstone materials, your coal, not really coal, your iron and your gold, and of course, the legendary diamonds. Well, Skyblock decides to take that to a whole nother level with these giant caverns. We get into the good old gold mines down here, where you can find a pretty big abundance of iron, coal, and if you go down far enough, gold. But there's actually not enough of it for this to be qualified as like the gold mine. I really think they need to rethink their namings. But that's only start. Coming up after the gold mine is the deep caverns. Pro Minecraft players, the ones who've been charging for hours, they have stacks of diamonds. This is enough to make them cry. The first level is filled to the brim with gold, iron, coal, and stuff. Each successive level you go down, it just gets more crazy. Lapis quarry full of lapis. Well, that's pretty much that's pretty much just it. You get to the pigman's den, filled to the brim with redstone. This would make this is a place worthy of such figures as Mumbo Jumbo. Slime Hill, filled to the brim with emeralds. Diamond Reserve, filled with, well, actually, this is pretty mine bare. Wow, okay, this is very mine bare. Apologize. I thought I could actually get some content coming here. But that's not even the last one. The Obsidian Quarry. This place is filled to the brim with, wow, really, there are not many materials. It is filled with deadly mobs, usually that one-hit you. There are diamond blocks down there. The key to your success in getting such figures as the diamond minions. I spent a long time grinding my way down through these caverns to get the materials I needed to get all the various minions. Diamond, coal, gold, iron, emerald, lapis, all of them. But that's just the start. Those are the basic minions that cover your basic materials you need. We're not even done yet. Let us continue. Let us go forth and see the madness this game takes you into. Upon getting all these minions, I had some difficulties. For starters, when you start off on Skyblock, you only get a few minion slots. You get like 5, and you progressively have to upgrade more minions to get more blocks. So you have to upgrade minions to be able to use more minions, to upgrade more minions. You get how this works. It's just a bunch of grinding. But there's only so much time you can spend on that before you get bored. So, it's time to move on for bigger things. First, the Foraging Collection. A nice little thing comprising of all the wood in the game and literally nothing else. It took me a while, actually, to figure out how to do this. Park? Where are the... Is it in the park now? I was used to old Skyblock, where they had a successive, like, 5 or 6 islands where you would get your wood. That was removed. I couldn't find where to get the wood for a long time. Eventually, I discovered the new area called the park, where you could just mine pretty much whatever kind of wood you wanted. So, I spent a while there grinding up for each type of foraging minion. Most of the chipping and the upgrading I've done for the foraging minions have been done off screen, but I will come back to them off later. P.S. All that time, those tens of hours that I've spent and recorded on this, that's not even including the hours that I haven't recorded. Eventually, I did reach the foraging minions, and from there, I decided to take a stab at the combat minions. These guys suck. My original goal was to just get all the basic minions for the first episode. I knew there were some minions that were beyond my reach. There's Slayer minions, there's weird ones that you have to pay like 50 million coins for. I couldn't do those, but my original goal was to get the very basic collection of them. That way I could work my way up from there. Combat's a problem. Combat's a real problem. Here's the thing. You have to face each of these guys and get enough, and you have to kill enough of them to get enough of their material to make their minions. I knew I was going to need some upgrades. First, I got a bow. I upgraded a little bit. I tried to enchant it. Didn't go so well, but I got a bow. And I started slowly striking away at the zombies in the graveyard. Then I reached a stroke of the greatest luck you can imagine. I was plodding along in a world of just these amazing skyblockers. You know what? That's fine. I'll call them that. But then I met someone, Naz. This guy noticed my shortcomings and gave me an ender rod. This little thing here. This thing. I didn't even realize how important it was at first. I couldn't. I had no idea what this mysterious item was. I didn't know what to do with it. But over time I've learned. That's the item, the weapon that you get from killing a boss. I don't know what it is. I really don't know. But that's the item you get from killing the magma cube boss. I need to be more conservative with my hair. Hi, I am also here. I want to get... No, you die, doofus. No. Come here. There you go. Perfect. I want... Thank you. What was that? I don't even know what that is, but like... That sent you a trade request. Alright, I don't... what do? I don't know. Deal timer? Ow. This, whatever, deal. I don't know what just happened. Ow, move out of the way. Okay. What? This guy is so kind. I don't even know what an ember rod is. But, did that even work? It did. This guy is so cool. I should not have possession of this weapon. And yet, this absolute great person decided to just give it to me to help it out. He probably had about 30. But it was still such a nice gesture. And honestly, I didn't know what to do with it. It was just... It was just such a monumentous thing. So, yeah, thanks, Guy, a lot. And that actually brought me to my second goal of becoming the best Skyblock player ever. You see, there's sort of... In Skyblock, there's a weird kind of... There's some weird connection between the players and the way they act towards each other. You see... Normally, players on the same level are fierce competition. When it comes to getting resources, they will battle each other to the death. Old Skyblock players have already done that. They've already gone through all the roughness. They know the pain and the glories. And so, they see these little Skyblock players, these new ones, these newbies that have no idea what they're doing. And they're just like, Aw, what adorable little ants. And they just pawn stuff up. Some of these guys are the nicest people in the world. So I decided to become the best Skyblock player, I must be capable of being able to spread the wealth that has been given to me. Because it doesn't end there. And we'll get back to that. So from there, I tried again. After doing some combat, I went and I decided to take on the spider's den. A nightmarish place full of one thing. Spiders. And occasionally slimes and like skeleton. I really don't understand what's there. This is a good test of your combat skills because it is difficult to survive. But you know what? I pressed on. I tried. And I failed miserably. My bow was barely effective enough against all the spiders and creepy crawlies there. Honestly, I gave up. I was going for the spider minions. There's two. One for string and one for spider eyes. I slowly chipped away at them, but I gave up on them for that. So, I went to the next most difficult task. Animal minions. In the Skyblock, the only way to get animal minions at first is to go to the farming islands. There's two, actually. The barn, which contains some of the various animals you need, and then there's, I don't know what it's called, the Mushroom Desert or something, which contains the rest. It's a bloodbath. They spawn about every, I would say, probably more than every 10 seconds. Or, well, yeah, like every 10 to 15 seconds. Instantly, every Skyblock player in the area comes running and just destroys them. It's such a difficult thing. I was power leveling for forever. It took eons just to work up enough to get those stupid animal minions. And that was just the base 3. I got the cows and the pigs and the chickens. And when it came, eventually I was able to get to the Mushroom Island, where you could get rabbits and minions. Or you could get rabbits and sheep. But after having to fought my way through this world for so long, I was in no hurry to try and get those guys. I set them off for like pretty much very last. Instead, I mined the other valuable resources here. Sugarcane, which was difficult because often my counter would not go up. My collection would not go up. I could not unlock the minion recipe because for some reason it wouldn't count when I gathered sugarcane. I also got cactus, mushroom, and whatever those are, cocoa beans. Both painful, but honestly, not the worst. They were pretty tame considering some of the other stuff we got coming up. After all that, I decided to power level my bow. That way I could get some of the more long-range requiring minions, aka slime. All the slimes are supersized. I don't know why, but they are, making them extremely difficult to hit without getting hurt. And mind you, I took all my Minecraft habits from regular Minecraft into Skyblock. And one of my worst habits, it's never wearing armor. I just don't care. I didn't know what the good armors were in this game. I didn't really care. I didn't want to spend the diamonds to try and make better armor. So I just didn't wear armor. And therefore I could not take many hits from these guys. So I upgraded my bow and took to the caverns to mine slime for like 20 minutes. So from there I went to the spider caverns, where I tried once again to test my strength against spiders. Not a good entity to test strength against if you don't have any. So I slowly chipped away at the string required for the first spider minion, and then gave up once I got enough combat experience to go to the next combat island, the Nether. It's just full of magma cubes and wither skeletons that all kill you so quickly. So, what I did instead was go for the Nether Collection. See, in here, there are certain Nether-related stuff, like the Nether Quartz Collection, the Glowstone Dust Collection. Netherrack is technically included with that, but it doesn't have a minion, so I really didn't care about it. The next time I tried to get on Skyblock, however, there was a problem. The server was doing a reboot, an update, if you will. So, what did I do? Nothing productive. I didn't hone my skills. I just played around with note blocks for like half an hour while listening to Lion and Peril chat while they still got to be in the game. At this point, with my very low skill level in this game, I couldn't get many other minion collections, or couldn't be bothered because I knew they'd be nearly impossible. So, after trying a few times to upgrade things like my Lapis Minion, stuff like that, I gave up and went for a calming but very difficult minion, the fishing minion. Here's the thing, in Minecraft, fishing is it's a bit difficult. You have to sit there with your rod, holding steady, and wait for a fish to bite your rod and grab it. You miss the timing, you lose the fish. In Skyblock, it gets even weirder. There's a bunch of stuff you can pull out of lakes. There's random items. There's sea creatures that will kill you. There's a lot of fun items and events that will happen while fishing. You have to get about 64 fish. That is of one specific type of fish, the normal codfish. You have to get 64 of that type of fish while being bombarded with other types of fish, random things like lily pads, and, of course, the monsters that come and kill you. As I was slowly chipping away at that minion, I reached a stroke of luck. I was able to obtain some of this armor set. The fairy armor, which gives you random things, gives you speed. Most importantly, actually gives me some health and defense. From there, and for one night only, I tried to get the Obsidian Minion. See, the only place Obsidian naturally grows, as we'll call it, or you can naturally obtain it in the real world in Skyblock, is in the Obsidian Sanctuary, in the deep caverns, with the things that one-hit kill you. I got killed so many times, and I barely collected any obsidian. I, at one point, actually took out the Ember Rod, but even its high level of damage wasn't quite enough to take out any of the stupidly highly powered enemies there. Speaking of donations, I was trying to power level some of my foraging minions, mostly just for fun. And also, I heard from Lying that if you get enough collection up on your oak minion, that you can get things called storages, which allow your minions to store more goods while they're offline, which is extremely useful and very helpful. Please, go for the foraging minions quickly. They will save your lives. But as I was power leveling to get this one day, I noticed one guy who was running around at Mach 3, as Lion calls it, and just chopping down trees like a madman. He would strike one part of a tree, and half of it would go away. It was crazy, and I stared at him for so long that he noticed that well, I don't know if it was a he or she, but he noticed. Unfortunately, all of this happened off camera because I don't know, man, I just couldn't record it at that time, I don't know. This guy noticed and decided to help me out a bit by giving me a similar axe to the one he had. And that is the Jungle Axe, an axe that allows you to break down trees fairly quickly. What you can do is it basically just lets you, bam, half the tree's gone. Takes 2 hits to take a tree out. Dramatically increased my thing. I was able to get almost all of my foraging minions up to level 5 or even 6. This is why I've decided that one of my criteria for becoming the best Skyblock player is being able to give back to all the little players who need these sort of items desperately. However, on one of these occasions when I was trying to play Skyblock, the server was down. So, like any reasonable player, I made a world and then programmed Finale from Undertale using no blocks. I have weird hobbies, okay? Don't judge me. From here, I went for a few more oddball minions. For starters, the Gravel Minion, which is entirely random, and instead of, I don't know, getting from a gravel farm, you have to go to the spider's den and get the gravel there. Using the Gravel Minion, I got all that, and then moved on to some of the other weird ones. I took more stabs at the Magma Cube Minion. I tried again at the Blaze Minion before giving up entirely. And then I resorted to the last thing I had, the Fishing Minion. This annoying dude was still haunting me, but through a couple nights worth of work, I was able to finally grind enough fish to unlock the minion, and then took the easy route and bought the fish from there. From here, I got the last few mainstream minions that I was somehow missing. First of all, the second spider minion, which is technically the spider eye minion, and then secondly, somehow the gold minion. I just hadn't gotten enough gold for it the first time, and so eventually I had to go back into the deep caverns and get the gold, and get murdered by creepers closely a couple times. But after that, I noticed that I was still missing a few key minions. After that whole escapade, I went for the two minions I had been sort of dreading, the minion and the sheep. But luckily, with the Ember Rod at my side, it wasn't actually that bad. So, those were both in the bag. However, I noticed that I was still missing a few key minions. For starters, the Sand Minion. This little bugger is difficult because to actually get it, you need to level up your Cactus Minion. Because the Cactus Minion allows you to get a desert island minion. Okay. Because the Cactus Minion allows you to get a desert island, which gives you the sand that you need to get the minion. Difficult. Here's the problem. At this point, at this point, I still hadn't reached that level of cactus. I just hadn't cactused hard enough yet. I didn't let that stop me. Instead, I power leveled like 1,000 cactus for far too long, just to get that upgrade, to get the desert island, which was painful enough to mine the sand from, which I could finally use to make a sand minion. But I was still missing one that I had been dreading almost more than any. The stupid Obsidian Minion. I had finally found a good way to do this. You don't want to use the deep caverns as your source. It's just too inefficient. Lion, however, told me about a better way. If you get a soul sand island from the Netherrack collection, you can get a netherwart island recipe. All that's great for netherwart, it also contains some obsidian on it. There's just a couple hundred problems. It is the most difficult thing to obtain in the world. To get this sucker, you need some netherwart already. I had that. I had gotten the netherwart minion. But you need soul sand. I can't get soul sand. You can't mine it anywhere. The only way to get it is through a trade, which you use through the sand minion. So, with my new sand minion, I thought, okay, how bad can it be? It's pretty bad. To trade for soul sand, you need not only sand, 2 sand at that, but you need fermented spider eye. And I needed 30 soul sand. To make a fermented spider eye, you need both brown mushroom and sugar. And, of course, spider eye. But I had very limited spider eye left over after having to get that last minion. So, it was time to head back to the spider cavern. But I got all that. It was great, it was fun, and I finally achieved the island. But do you remember how painful it is to mine obsidian? I spent forever getting this stupid block until eventually, after so long of working, I finally got the obsidian. So, after all that work, I had finally achieved the basic level of minions. This isn't even it. This, like, half a chest full of minions doesn't include the ones I already have out, as well as, you know, all the other stupid minions. But you know what? Let's not talk about my achievements. Let's talk about what I didn't achieve. Because, well, it's funny, okay? For starters, the clay minion. I looked at this guy. I really did. I don't know how to get him. You need you need to unlock 50 clay to get him. Now, I can get clay through a trade. I can trade seeds for clay, and I can do that because of my wheat minion over there. But, here's the problem. Those don't count towards the collection, and I don't know what does. I have no idea, out of anything in this world, how to get clay. The funny thing is, I have enchanted clay. I have enchanted clay that I pulled up while fishing. I don't know what to use it for. I don't know how to use it. I don't know how to get regular clay. So I had to say no on that one. But that's the simple guy. There's many more. First of all, the blaze rod. I didn't even try. I gave up on this guy. There's no way I could get that many blaze rod at my current level. Even if I went for only the 50, it's so hard to buy blaze rods anyways that it just wasn't gonna happen. Gas tier, I never even tried it. I never killed a single gas. I knew that was gonna be a pain from the very start, so I just said nope. Also, Gunpowder Minion. These guys are almost even more annoying than the stupidly ridiculous Blaze Minion. You know why? They spawn in one place, the gunpowder mines, and they spawn in one way. They spawn right behind you and start to explode almost immediately. So, you have to have your ear out. You have to run away. You have to get out of the radius of the creeper Mind you, this is still a very dangerous job in the first place, but then you have to get out of the radius and make sure the creeper stops from exploding. Then you have to kill the creeper, and that's one creeper. You have to do that 50 times. So yeah, I gave up on that, and that's with competition with all the other people who regretted not getting the creeper minions eventually. Beyond that, there were only a few others that I didn't get. Of course, there's some random ones such as the snow minion, which you have to get from Jerry's workshop, which I don't even understand. Peril and Lion have tried to explain it many a time. I don't get it. And then there's also the flower minion, which you have to buy from an auction house for like $50,000. That was nothing. And then, of course, the Slayer minions. But there was just one more minion I could have gone for. Well, technically two. There's the endstone minion, but I haven't even locked the end, so I can't even do that. Maybe there's some type of... You know, let's check, actually. Maybe there's some type of trade. I wouldn't know those. But there's one final one. The ice minion. And I can do that. You see? All you need, all you're supposed to need at least, is some water. All you need is some water, and then Frostwalker boots. Now, if you'll notice, let's just go through this real quick. If you'll notice, right now, my collection is at 0. I haven't even locked this, but I have my silk pickaxe here, and if I can figure out which inventory slot it is, then I go here and I mine my stuff and I grab it. Nothing. I don't get it. It doesn't count it for me. I don't unlock the collection for it. I tried for like 15 minutes, many different things. I tried taking the boots on and off. I tried creating new water sources. It just seemed like the entire thing was against me. So, yeah, I respectfully and totally gave up on the ice minion. But that does not mean this is over. We still have many more minions to collect and many more things to do. But I finally come up with my 3 goals for becoming the best Skyblock player. Technically it's 4, but the last one's the end goal. First of all, to unlock and upgrade all the minions. This is work in progress. Through all this time, my minions have really grown. We got redstone level 5. I don't even know what this guy is. Level 6 there. Level 6. Level 5. How are you only at level 5? We've got level... well, 6. You're at level 6? You're so slow for the level 6. We got whatever that cactus thing is. My sugarcane minion was doing pretty well. The fishing minion is a fishing minion. I still hate you, but you are giving me some pretty good fish here. Wow. Dang, you're already full, man. And then some wood minions, because these extra minion chests are the most beautiful things that have happened to minion kind ever. Well, that's my first goal, but that's my first goal. My next one is giving stuff to players. So, you know what? Let's do a little bit of that now. You there. Merry Christmas. Then one of my final and more weird goals, we'll say, is to actually try to create some note block music. I really had fun, one, experimenting with note blocks, and then actually making a song out of them. So, I'm going to try to continue that. The only problem I'm going to run into is that there's a redstone limit on your island, but, I mean, whatever, it's fine. I'm going to create simple jingles. Hopefully that's not too much. But then my final task and my final goal for becoming the best player is to be able to flex on Lion and Peril. They have given me so much trouble. Sure, they've given me advice. Sure, I've been able to use their portals to get everywhere, and that's saved me so much time. But I need to be able to flex on them and show them that I've grown. I don't know how to do that. But finally, the steps are in place. I can finally publish this video knowing that I am ready to take on the world and become the best Skyblock player. So, the only question is, now what am I going to do with what I've earned? Well, my friends, that's simple.